woman with a partner who has gone their entire life childless.
I have to respond to this video. Oh my gosh. So I am 55 years old, child-free by choice. I knew at the age of 7 years old that I would never want to have children. And by the grace of God, that decision has never wavered. I also knew that if I ever got to be the old age of in my 50s like I am now, and if I ever wanted kids, I could always adopt, right? So what does it look like for me being child-free by choice at the age of 7, since the age of 7? It has meant a life of complete and total freedom, a life of joy, a life of non-aging, as we can see. There's no filler or Botox in this face. It has meant that I was able to retire from corporate America at the age of 38 years old, to travel the world and live abroad in luxury and style, and I'm still doing that all these years later, all these decades later. I live abroad, I travel, I have businesses, I have money. Oh my gosh, I don't have stress, I don't have worry, I have joy. It's amazing being child-free for me. Now, to all of your friends and family that are telling you that you're gonna somehow be jealous of those that have children and you're gonna have all this regret, don't believe them. What they're telling you is a total lie, and it is a complete and total scam. Trust me, those of us that are child-free by choice have never looked at our friends that have kids and said, oh, I really wish I would have made that choice. No, said none of us ever. In fact, people that have children, and God bless you. You guys, parenthood is one of the hardest things you could ever do in life. God bless all parents, Lord knows. But parents look at us that are child-free and they channel that as jealousy of us because we have our freedom. So I just call it as it is. Don't hate the player, hate the game. So what I want to say to you is, do you make your own choices, live your own life, and enjoy your peace. And if you're soliciting advice from these people, please don't solicit it. And if they offer it, which people tend to do that have children, why don't you just go raise your kids and be happy and do you? It's so weird. It's really weird, people. It's weird. If they give that advice, just let them know that you don't need it and you're good. So I hope this helps. Being child-free at 55 years old means complete and total joy, more choices. You know, last summer, because Mexico where I live is so hot, I moved to Istanbul, Turkey for the whole summer, had a ball. This summer, I'll be in Europe gallivanting around, having a free hot girl summer. So being child-free equals freedom. I wish the best to you. And if you decide you want to change it in the future, you can always freeze your eggs now and have kids later by surrogate or what have you. You can always adopt, or you can get a puppy. All right, I hope this helps.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about women that are child-free or choosing to be child-free. So there's a difference between a woman that chooses to be child-free, that does not have children, and a woman that does not have children because of medical reason or just unable to get pregnant. So I am a mom of 5. I love my children, love having kids, but it is a lot of work, a lot of responsibility. So I completely get women that says it's not for me, because you cannot be 20% in, 80% out. You got to be 100% in. Sometime 110%. You got to give it everything you got. So in my 20s or early 30s, I would not understand what a woman was talking about when they said, I am choosing not to have children. And I always think that's so weird. I have family member that says, I just don't have that motherly instinct. I never feel like having children. I never felt the need. And I always think that is so weird. But now that my 3 older kids is older, I completely get it. When my kids were younger, it was a lot easier because you can just take them to daycare, take them to school, and they listen to whatever you say. Now when you have adult children, I have 2 adults, and then I have a teenager. The teenage years are rough. Very rough, and they're very expensive. So I get what some people are saying. How do you afford them? I won't be able to afford a home. I get it. I completely understand it. And I won't be able to travel because I don't have a babysitter, or I don't just want to just leave my children. But from my point of view, there's stuff that you have to miss out on. There's places that my friends are going that I wish I could go, but I can't because I have children. So I still own my own home. I still bought my own home 100% by the age 28 on my own. So I seen a creator saying I wouldn't be able to afford my own home, I wouldn't be able to travel. Yes, I've traveled without my children. Yes, I've traveled with my children. So you can do it, but sometimes you have to do it on a smaller scale because you still have to put your children needs 100%. And believe me, the more older they get, the more the money needs and demands are. Once they get into university, there's no more your needs. It's all about your children's needs. What do they need? Do they need a new textbook? Do they need tires to be able to get to school? It becomes a lot more expensive. So I completely understand child-free women and what the intentions are for not wanting to have children of the responsibility. They want to do their own thing. They don't want the responsibility of caring for another person. So let me know what your thoughts are. Are you child-free? Do you have guilt for being child-free? Are you one of that person that let the child-free woman feels guilty? Because I used to be like that. Not necessarily put it on you to feel guilty, but I used to think, oh my God, that is so weird. Because I never understand. How would you not want children? Like I never know love until I have my own children. And also I find my children fuel my fire in terms of want me to work more. I want to work more because of my children. I want to do better because of my children. So I do understand both sides, from who wants kids from who don't want. I do understand both. So that's just from the point of a mom's side. But every woman should have the right to choose whether you want to have a child or don't want a child without feeling guilty. So let me know what your thoughts are in my comment section. Let me know what your experience are, and we'll continue watching the video. Let me know.
What? I've been doing what for 10 years?
You've been writing on my income.
I've been writing on your income for 10 years. Being a stay-at-home mother, which you wanted me to.
Thanks for coming in for the interview. I was just hoping to review the job description with you, just to go over some things. Yeah, I know we've talked about raising kids together, so I'm happy to talk about some of our expectations. All right, so you'll be on call all week long. So I'm on call 168 hours a week. That's correct. And you'll handle everything going on in the home. Okay, that seems doable. Right, you'll handle the cleaning, so things like vacuuming, washing the floors, making sure the counters are cleaned, picking up after the kids and myself. You also need to handle the dry cleaning, washing the clothes, drying the clothes, folding the clothes, and putting them away in their respective rooms. All the food, so you look at the pantry and figure out what we're missing, you come up with the grocery list, do the grocery shopping, and prep all of the meals just to make sure that I have something to eat. Oh, is there anything else? Yeah, you would also handle everything with the kids. Like if they get up overnight, you get up overnight. If there's something going on at school, you take them to and from school, you arrange all their activities. If they need to go to the doctor, you make the appointment, you take them to and from. So I'm on call 168 hours a week. What about sick days or vacation days? Oh, you're right. I should have thought to mention that earlier. I'm so sorry. Yes, you will be handling all sick days with the kids, and when we have a vacation, you're going to organize it and take care of them and make sure that they're loaded up and all the stuff is packed. You'll also be packing my stuff. So will you be doing anything to contribute to the housework? I mean, I'll take the trash out and mow the lawn if you remind me. This doesn't sound like you would be very involved with the home or the kids. I'll be the one who works in the relationship. You know what? This isn't fair or equitable. I don't want to put my career on hold for this. Wait, no, you can't quit. It would cost us over $150,000 to pay people to do what you would do every year for free.
Sometimes I'd be like, damn, I really don't want kids. And then I'd be like, damn, am I really going to find me a man's? Because I know a lot of, like, men want to, like, you know, add to their legacy and their last name and stuff. But, like, I don't want children. I don't want them. I just don't. I don't want to pay for them. I don't want to do all that school stuff. I don't want to daycare prices. I don't want to do that. Like, hell no. I feel like that is... I'm sorry, like a death sentence. I know that sounds very bad, like an extreme, but like I have no desire to be constantly stressed out at all. But I feel like a lot of men actually want kids. But I also feel like a lot of men don't really understand how expensive kids are. Like, and I do. And I'm already expensive as an adult myself. And even as a kid I was. I have no desire in being a mom. Too much responsibility for me on.
I want to know what your number one reason is for not having kids.
Yeah, mine is because I can't be a dad. I would have to be a mom, and I don't have any interest in being a mom. But in a different life, when roles were reversed, if I could be a dad instead, I probably would be interested in a kid, maybe two. And I think there's new studies that have come out that have shown that women seem to be obsessive over babies and having families, when really studies show that more men are interested in having children at different times throughout their life than women are overall. all, and why wouldn't they be? Men get to show up at the very beginning one time, wait 9 months for the baby to come, and then they get to be super dad for playing ball in the park, or going to the grocery store with just them and the kid, or putting a frozen lasagna in the oven and being called super dad. Like, the bar is so incredibly low for dads and so incredibly high for moms that I have no interest in being a mom. I would only have any interest in being a dad.
Someone just told me to hurry up and have kids before it's too late. Too late for what? I'm 45 years old. I don't understand why people are still bothering me about having kids. I mean, menopause is right around the corner. Like, why do I have to have a kid now? I made the decision to go child-free in my mid to late 20s. It served me really well. I'm going to be honest. I wanted to be selfish. I wanted to do whatever I wanted all of the time. Don't get me wrong. I love kids. I love their energy. After the age of 5, toddlers seem like a lot of work. They're always screaming and they're always crying and puking, and I just couldn't. And how do you guys afford kids? I mean, really? Kids these days, an 8-year-old wants a PS5. I went to the mall and some little kid had a better designer bag than me. I see a lot of moms struggling too, and frankly, I don't know what's worse. Struggling with trying to bring up upstanding citizens, them struggling with the constant exhaustion, them struggling with the expense. It's not for me. It absolutely is not for me. I never really wanted to be a mom. I don't think I have a biological clock. If you make the decision to be child-free, stick to it. Don't let anybody sway you, because they will try until you are lying in your coffin to make you have kids.
I've escaped 80% of life's problems by not having children. So I did a video about this on my YouTube channel last year, and it was my most viewed video to date, where I talk about how the only thing that I have to worry about when I wake up in the morning is, do I want coffee or tea? And there's no legitimate reason under the sun for me to ever change that. A lot of people don't have a deep understanding that for many of us child-free women, the decision to be child-free really just comes from not wanting to make our lives harder than it has to be. Because it's like, why would I do that, right? I talked about how I don't have to worry about stuff. And then if I had kids, I would have to worry about a bunch of things, like overnight. Right now in my life, I no longer have to live paycheck to paycheck. Now, I'm not bragging or anything like that, but I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck, because I used to live like that a long time ago. And now I don't have to. I even have things on auto pay now, because we always joke about, you made it if you got things on auto pay. Just take it out of this account. You know what I mean? I have stuff literally coming out of this account on auto pay, every week, every month, whatever. And so I literally would go right back to living paycheck to paycheck again and struggling again if I had children. And I have no intentions on doing that. And I don't understand why that's hard for people to get. It's almost like people want you to be miserable with them because they're miserable. Because it's like, what part of I'm comfortable and I don't want to change that do people not get? And if you're pretending to not get it, I'm thinking it is because you're miserable and you're upset that other people won't be joining you in your misery. I never have to know what it's like to have a kid unalived in a school, pew-pewing, or to be bullied or harassed or unalived in any way, assaulted in any way. I'm never going to have to experience that. I don't want to experience these things, A lot of times you guys think that going through things builds character. And I'm like, maybe it does in some ways, depending on what it is and who it is. But I don't want to go through my kids being harmed and unalived to build my character. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go through homelessness to build my character. I don't want to lose everything that I've worked hard for. I don't want to go back to living paycheck to paycheck to build my character. I would rather build my character by reading books, by learning about different cultures and learning about people and studying human psychology and studying plants and animals and whatever. You know what I mean? Studying the universe in which we live in, right? I would rather build my character by getting out and helping to volunteer at soup kitchens and stuff. That is how I build my character. And I don't associate struggle with building character, especially if it's something that you can avoid. I am not about to get up every day and make my life a living hell just because people think that's what makes a real woman or that's what makes a real adult when you have all these 1,000,001 responsibilities. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I'm speaking for myself, and I'm also speaking for all the other child-free women out there, and even women who have kids but are like, I'm one and done. You know what I mean? Or I'm two and done, and that's it. Y'all got me effed up. So people have the right to live their lives how they want. But the reason why I say I escaped 80% of life's problems by not having kids is because most problems that women have in their lives tend to come from the stresses of parenthood or motherhood, and also from whatever spouse that they're living with or having to deal with, right? It is what it is. Those are the two, a man and some kids. Those are the two major stressors on a woman's life. Of course, you got money problems, and you have all these other things, the beauty standards and all that crap, right? But the main two things, kids and a man. And I am without both. And I plan on being without both forever. The kid thing is for sure not happening. Done, right? I can't wait till I hit menopause. That way, nature would make that decision for me. Then I ain't got to worry about it no more. But the whole aspect of being in a relationship, like, there's like no benefit for me to do that. It's like no benefit. I see all the ways in which it can ruin my life. I see 0 ways where it can make my life better. So if I take away those two major problems that cause women the most strife in their lives, what strife do I really have to deal with now? Little stuff like don't be late to work, or make sure my Amazon packages come on time. My Fashion Nova jeans need to be here before Friday because I plan on taking them on my trip. You know what I mean? Those are the types of things that I worry about every day, and I want to keep it that way. If you think it's selfish and self-absorbed or whatever, then that's too bad. But I plan on being selfish and self-absorbed until the day I die. Anybody who have a problem with that, that's exactly what it is. It's your problem. Scamper off and find a way to deal with it. And I'm out. So this is just to my child-free girlies, right? How many of you guys notice a difference when your best friend or one of your close relatives or someone announces that they're pregnant, and you want to be happy for them, but you kind of know that the relationship, the friendship is pretty much about to go downhill? And so do you bail first, or do you just let them bail? Because in most cases, there are exceptions to this rule, obviously, but in most cases with most child-free women, we notice that the friendship pretty much dies after they have kids, because they have to go be a mommy. You know, they have to be a mommy and stuff, and they have to do the mommy thing. And now all of a sudden you really don't want to invite them places, because every time you've ever invited them, they always said they couldn't do it, either because they never had any money, or they didn't find a babysitter, or something like that. And it just slowly just died down after a while. And it happened to several of your friends over the years or whatever. And so you just kind of come to accept the fact that a lot of the times, not all the times, but most of the time, for most child-free women, you notice that it just starts to die down. The second part to this, they just started loading my truck just now. The second part to this is, do you back off? Do you dip? Or do you allow them to dip? Because deep down, you know that you are not the village. Now, I want you to think about that for a second, right? And when I say you're not the village, I mean, you ain't finna be babysitting. Like, you know that you got your own life. You got a job. You got the careers. You got hobbies. You got things you're doing every day. And you don't want to be close enough to the situation. To some degree, you miss them and you love them and you want the best for them. But at the same time, you really don't want to be too close to the situation, because you really don't want them asking you to babysit. I can't be the only one. Like, I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. So I want you guys to chime in and let me know how many of us are out there, please. I am not the village. And as bad as that may sound, you know, I chose not to have kids for a reason. I don't want to babysit. And to be honest, the biggest fear that I have with that is that something will happen to your kid and you will blame me for it, or I'll be sued for it, or I'll have criminal charges brought against me, even though I would know something wasn't my fault, and the courts will see it differently. Like, for an example, last year I was thinking about getting a trampoline, but I didn't get it because I was scared that a lot of the kids in the neighborhood would want to jump on my trampoline. Not only do I not want them jumping on my trampoline because kids tear stuff up, and I'm somebody who has a lot of nice things, and I cannot, like, somebody breaking a champagne glass of mine just literally burns my blood, right? So I'm one of those people that's like, please don't break that, right? So not only do they tear stuff up, but if any of them hurt themselves and they decided to take me to court or something, I could be sued, because they'll be like, it happened on your property. I've seen this happen to too many people, and I just thought it was so unfair, but that's the law. And so because that's the law, your kids are not allowed at my house, because I just don't want to deal with that. I don't want to take the time to have to watch them and make sure they're not sticking things into the sockets and stuff, and making sure they're not in the cabinets drinking chemicals. And and it's not that I would be irresponsible and let it happen, because I wouldn't. The issue is I don't want to have to think about those things. When I get into my routine of cleaning up or, doing my landscaping or whatever, I just don't want to be bothered with that stuff. And so there's a part of me that thinks your kids are adorable. I love people's babies and stuff. But just kind of keep them over there, right? So it's kind of like, I'll hold the baby for a few seconds. After a good 20 seconds of them crying, okay, come get your baby. Like, whose man's is this, right? But I want to know how many of you guys secretly feel this way. Like, I really love you and I care about you and I want the best for you. And if you need anything, I'll help you with milk, formula, whatever you need. But please don't ask me to babysit, because I can't mentally. I literally chose not to have kids for a reason. I don't want the responsibility. I don't want to be sued. I don't want anything held against me. I'm one of those people. I'm at that age now where kids just standing outside in my grass, just, you know what I mean? And they think I'm very nice, and I am a very nice person. I'm nice to everybody, but deep down I'm like, get off my fucking grass, right? I'm at that age now. When I was a kid, I didn't understand why old people got mad that you were like picking their flowers and stuff. But listen, if you pick my hydrangeas, off with your head, okay? Not for real, but I'm just saying. But I want to know, leave y'all's comments below, because I really want to know if I'm the only person that feels this way, if that makes any sense. Like, I love you, but I really don't want to participate that much. I don't want to get that close to the situation, because I don't want you asking me to babysit, because I love you, but I'm not the village.
So yeah, I'm 53, completely single by choice, and also no children by choice. Love my life, have incredible friends, and travel is the secret to my happiness. I do not wait around for some man to show up to travel with me or to explore places with me. I do it on my own and have so much fun, and usually take friends with me, meet friends wherever I go. It's the secret to my personal happiness. So if you're out there whining and complaining that you can't find a guy and your life is not worth living, then you better knock it off and rethink the way you're living your life, because you got one shot, babies. So have fun and enjoy it while you can, single or not.
I need to talk to the girl with the list of reasons not to have children. Do you want to know what my toddler just did? Okay, so this morning I wake up, I filmed a video where I was like, I want to spend intentional time with my daughter. So I take her to Waffle House. We have a great time. The food was good. We were vibing. She was like, she was talking to the waiter. Then after I was like, what do you want to do? She's like, shopping. I'm like, perfect. Let's go shopping. We go to the mall. We ride up the escalator, down the escalator, up the escalator, down the escalator. We're leaving. Does she want to leave? No. She fought me a little bit. It's okay. She's 2.5, right? We get home. I turn my back for 2.5 seconds to heat up my coffee. Do you want to know what she did in that 2.5 seconds? She unglued super glue that was in my purse. Unglued it. Super glued her eye shut. I turn around. I'm like, you should have. It was literally, I was like, no. And she was like looking at me like, as she was doing it, I was like, it's too late. I scream. Because I'm like, the fuck do you do when somebody super glues their eye shut? Your eye, dude, your eye of all things. Your fingers, anything. Your eye. So I panic. I try to think really quick. I grab her. She immediately was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I get a washcloth, all things, whatever. I scream for my mom. Because I'm like, dude, tap in. It's grandma's time to tap in, okay? We get in the car, drive to urgent care. Closed. I'm like, okay, we go to the different urgent care. I run in, I'm crying. I'm like, my daughter's eye is super glued shut. They're like, I've been a doctor for 42 years. I ain't never seen this. I'm like, sir, do you think that's gonna calm me down? Then in urgent care for about an hour and a half, I proceeded to do the exact same thing that I was doing at home, because turns out you super glue your eyes shut. There's not much that they could do other than just with a washcloth, a warm. So here's a tip. If you ever accidentally super glue your eyes shut, warm compress and then wipe. Warm compress, wipe. She's fine. Her eye's fine. Nothing, he saw in her eye. We got the drops, we did everything just in case. But he's like, it's good, it's just crazy. My daughter, she peed on me also. She's sitting on the thing, peed on me. So potty training's going great. And so when we were leaving, they gave her lollipops and stickers, and she said, this is so much fun. I said, okay.
You know what's even more socially unacceptable today than being a woman who doesn't want kids? The reason you don't want kids. I and so many women I know have spent years trying to justify why we don't want kids, saying, oh yeah, no, I love kids. And then give your reason as if you have to justify it. And truly, one of my reasons for not wanting kids is the one you're never allowed to say, which is, I don't really like kids. Sure, there's a couple of kids I like. My nephew's really badass. I have some friends with some truly awesome kids. But in general, I don't like kids. But when you're a woman who says you don't like kids, oh man, do you need to be prepared for the wrath that you are going to get, because you are supposed to like kids. You are supposed to want children. You're supposed to love all children. And yet if you're a man that doesn't like kids, doesn't like being around kids, doesn't have anything to say to kids, no one thinks twice about it.
In this, woman refuses to go on girls' trips, saying she doesn't want to talk about marriage and babies for 3 days. Boy, can I relate. Nothing, and I mean nothing, puts single women off of the prospect of having children more than mothers whose entire personalities revolve around their children and husbands. Like, it gives you the ick for child rearing. There are girls in my circle that I've definitely stayed away from, because I feel like after a couple of meetings, I've realized that the only thing they want to talk about is marriage and their children. And, you know, this is not the case for all mothers, but I think there are quite a few women who, before they got married and before they started having children, had no sense of identity and no sense of who they actually are outside of what society demanded of them. It's almost like they got their validity and sense of purpose from what society told them to be. And so when you're getting the attention around like your newborn, it kind of fuels that sense of belonging. And it's almost like they kind of just hold on to that. It's like their personality just becomes their children because they had nothing before that. And it's so sad, because it's not technically their fault, it's just society. But as a single girl, I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to like learn from people. I love to take solo trips. And when your life is so styleful in that way, it's going to have a knock-on effect. Like, your children need to have a mother who has interests, has hobbies outside of her children, has a perspective on the world that she's learned and spent time grafting and learning before she had those children. I was speaking to a married woman recently, and she was saying that her husband goes on these boys' trips for weeks on end, and she really wants to go on a solo trip, but he doesn't understand the need for it. And I was just saying to her that having a solo trip experiences gives you such an incredible perspective. Like, you meet incredible people, you have incredible dinner table stories as well, honestly. And the fact that when you're married, that for some reason people feel like you don't need to go on solo trips, or when you have children, people feel like you don't need to go on solo trips. It's almost like going on a solo trip is just as a result of being single, whereas when you have a family, like, you're always supposed to be with them all the time. As someone who's like solo traveled to so many countries around the world, please get out there. Even if you're a mother, if you have a support network that can pick up the responsibility while you're gone, pick up the slack, please do it. It's invaluable. And as a single girl, I just want to hang out with people who are interesting. I'm so sorry. I don't care about the consistency of your child's poop.
The interesting thing about knowing from a young age that you don't want marriage or children is that it automatically decenters men from your life. The three things that men have historically had to offer women, money, marriage, children, are things that I don't want or need. I have my own money, I have my own job, I have my own house, I have my own car, I have my own friends, I have my own hobbies. I filled my life with beautiful things that bring me joy and happiness and contentment. I also don't have a giant imaginary biological clock counting down the seconds to my impending infertility, so I don't have to settle down, with the operative word being settle. You'd think that men would be happy with this, that I don't want or need anything from them, I just like them for them. But what I'm effectively doing is taking away their control over my ability to leave. Money, marriage, children. Some men just don't like that at all. Don't get me wrong, I've had some beautiful relationships with men where the thing that tied us together was the fact that we loved and liked each other. But some men really don't like knowing that you would be absolutely fine without them. And I am. I'm not just surviving without a man, I'm thriving without a man. I don't need a man to provide my happily ever after. I provide it for myself every single day.
A super fun part of dating in your 40s is that men will still ghost you for not wanting children. Like, sir, you are 47 years old. You already have 2 adult children. You have a family history of heart failure and you're on a waiting list for a double knee replacement. What do you think you're going to do with a baby?
So you mean to tell me that a healthy, happy woman will willingly choose to spend the rest of her life by herself? Like, is that what we're saying? So being single by choice is very real, right? You can be in your single season. You can decide, like, I'm just, living my life, not ready for a relationship, not interested in a relationship, and that's okay. But there's one thing to say, that this is the choice that I'm making, that I want to spend the rest of my life by myself, no husband, no kids, no nothing, just me, myself, and I find it hard to believe. It sounds like a lot of bitter, broken, unhealed, unhappy women. And instead of joining all these movements, how about you join a therapy group? How about you hit up that number on the back of your insurance card if you have insurance and find out where you can find you a therapist, because that's what you need. I don't, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. It don't make sense.
You ask for these women to go to therapy, so I feel like as a therapist, maybe I should share some perspective on this. I think we need to leave people alone for them to decide what they want to do with their life. Yes, a normal, healthy woman can decide to be single and not have children, and it is completely her choice. Don't know what you are measuring normal and healthy by, but in therapy, therapists don't force people to go for a relationship if the person has decided that this is what makes me happy, this is what works for me, this is what my life could look like. A therapist isn't going to force somebody have children and have a partner because that's what you are supposed to do as a woman. It is society that forces these roles on women. It is society that look down on women. It is somebody like you that make women who decide that they don't want to have children or get married feel like they are missing something or they are less than. If you made a choice to get married and to have children, that is completely your choice. Nobody is forcing you not to have children or not to get married. It is your choice and you are happy with it, and that is fine. If the woman next to you decides that I don't want to have children, I don't want to have a partner, I want to go through this life without that, that is also completely fine. So let us normalize allowing people to make the choices that they want to make in their lives and not forcing our reality and our experiences onto other people. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
I'm not kidding when I say this, but one of the biggest things I took away when I had children was, oh, I understand why people are child-free by choice now. I'm going to out myself and say that I genuinely didn't understand that, because as a woman, and I don't want to say, like, I'm not ascribing to societal gender norms, but like as a woman that grew up with a mom that was a stay-at-home mom and just kind of thought that I thought that's what you did. You just had kids and that's fulfilling, and I couldn't wait, and I loved babies. And I used to think that there might be that, just like that woman that didn't want that maybe, I don't know, I didn't understand them. And I kind of thought, I don't want to say less of them, but I just thought like, oh, you and I don't vibe. I don't get it. Why would you not want this? And then as I got older, like I'm in my mid 30s now and I had kids, I go like, oh, like those women just really fucking knew themselves, and they are extremely emotionally mature, women and men that don't want kids. But I'm speaking specifically to women because we put that pressure on women mostly. I'm like, you know yourself, you know your limits, you know your boundaries, you are prioritizing yourself, your happiness, your health, and you're not following society's rules. You're giving everyone a big F you, and that takes a lot of courage too. So I have so fucking much respect for, again, women, but mostly women that are able to go against everything that society tells them they should do and just say, no, fuck it, I don't want to deal with this shit. It's a lot. This shit is a lot of shit. So yeah, if you're not, I think if you're not 110% committed to being a mom, don't do it. You have to want it with every fiber of your being, or you're going to resent that choice.
Best part of being childless, bitch, is as soon as an inconvenience befalls you, you could just take a nap for a clean slate. Don't nobody suffer. Go without a meal. Go without nothing if you just give up for a little fucking while. So let me nuzzle in. I'll know what to do when I wake up in 3 hours.
I'm 34 years old and I have been married for 9 years, and my husband and I decided not to have kids because one of our core values is freedom. Let me explain. When my husband and I started dating, we both fell in love with how independent we were and how dedicated we were to our careers and our ambition and our purpose and our devotion to our own individual happiness. So early on, I was 24 when we were dating. We decided that we were not interested in having kids. But I also knew that I am very young and I may change my mind. So I never made any definitive decision. I just said, yes, not having children sounds really, really nice, but I can't promise you that at 24. As time went on, we saw a lot of our friends having kids and my siblings having kids, and it reinforced the decision of not having kids for us because we saw just how much it changes your lifestyle. And my husband and I have an amazing life. Like, we do whatever we want. We've even lived in our own apartments in New York City while being happily married. And we've moved across the country from New York to LA. We bought a house in Seattle that we are now renting out to move back to LA because of work. And we are both able to be untethered and move based on our careers, based on what we want in life. Not to say that you can't do those things while having kids, but kids are expensive. And I don't know if we would be able to be homeowners in our 30s if we had kids. And I don't know if we would be able to travel as much as we do if we had kids. And we were both raised in the generation with immigrant parents who had to work so incredibly hard to just afford the bare minimum of the life that we both got to live. And we both felt neglected. I think that a child deserves to come into this world with parents who are fully excited and devoted to the child and putting the child's wants and needs first. The child deserves that. And until we are ready to do that for another human being, we choose to be child-free. But follow along if you're interested in the DINK lifestyle, which just means dual income, no kids, and see how we are living our life child-free.
I'm a mom of 4 kids, and something I cannot get over is the way that people try to convince women who are child-free by choice that they actually want kids. They'll say things like, oh, no, you say that now, but you'll see, you'll want them, or, oh, just wait, once you fall in love, you're gonna want kids. Doctors will even say, no, ma'am, I can't tie your tubes, you're too young, you're gonna change your mind. As if women don't know what they want for themselves. It is wild. And I often even see it in like dating and marriage. Men will date women who say they do not want kids. And then they think they can convince them to have kids. And they spend years trying to tell her that she does want kids. And then if they break her down, if they are successful in doing so, in getting her to have children with them, they are then shocked when she doesn't fully enjoy the experience of motherhood. It is crazy to me that women will say what they want and people will tell them that that just can't possibly be true. That just can't be true. And it's crazy because society tells us that, as a woman in particular, our ultimate job is to be a mother. And so it is really difficult for many women to say, no, I don't want kids. I will never want kids. That is a difficult thing to say in this society because people then look at you and say, well, then what are you good for? And women and men have value whether or not they have children and a family. You don't need kids to have value in our world. And honestly, as a parent, I always encourage people, like, if you don't think you want kids, definitely don't have them. You cannot go in this halfway. You're all the way in, right? So let's start listening to women. And if they say they don't want kids, believe them. Don't date them. Don't marry them, hoping you can change their mind. Don't tell them what to do with their reproductive organs. Just let them live their life. Let them be, please. Because women know what they want. They know what they want, and they are allowed to say that, and they are allowed to stick by that, and we should honor that.
It always makes me laugh when men in my comment section say, well, if you don't settle down, you're going to be old and childless, and you're going to be an old cat lady. Listen, brother, I just got back from an 18-kilometer run. I am 1 month out from my ultramarathon. Freshly shaven legs, moisturized. I am now wearing a dress. I'm going to take myself out for dinner and I'm going to get a juicy steak. And the house is clean. Everything is clean. And when I get back from my dinner, I am going to do a full skincare routine. And then I'm going to crawl into bed with my freshly shaven legs and it's going to feel so nice against my sheets. I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to hang out with my pet rabbit. And then I'm going to go to bed early. And I'm going to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and it's going to be the best. My skin is the clearest it's ever been. My cortisol levels are balanced. I have a jawline. Can't say I had that when I was in a relationship constantly stressed out. And life is good. Life is really good. Fresh manicure. I love it here. I love it here. So I just might take the cats.
I'm 45 and child-free, and I regret not having children. I'm just kidding. There's like a small faction of you that have been waiting to hear someone say that. And I know for a brief minute that gave you a bit of a hard on. I was just messing with you a little bit. I don't regret it at all.
Stayed with y'all seen that lady on Twitter? She's talking about it's weird to brag about not having kids. This makes me think of when somebody told me, hurry up and have kids so you could be miserable like me. And that stayed with me. I'm not saying that parenthood is miserable for everyone, but I have come across my fair share of regretful moms. They seem tired, they are haggard, they do not get any help from the men that they are with. They mourn the life that they had before. I love having money, getting up and doing whatever the fuck I want to do, and having serenity in my home. I understand that motherhood is a sacred journey, but motherhood is not for everyone, and people really struggle with minding their business about what you do with your body. Is that a little envy that I detect?
Child-free women over 40. Question. Do you regret, like truthfully, do you regret your child-free by choice decision? I'm asking you like honestly and openly. Because that's what misogynistic men say to child-free by choice women. Wait till you're 40, wait till you're 50. Like some mystic Meg, they apparently can see into the future of child-free by choice women. And even though the stats actually have proven, stats, this is not opinion, this is fact, that child-free by choice unmarried women are the happiest subgroup of people in the population, they still don't want to believe it. So let's actually ask child-free by choice women, do they truly regret their decision? And let's see and go from there.
Do you have kids?
Oh, no.
Why not?
It's just not my cup of tea.
I love seeing older women thriving without having children because every single time a young girl says, oh yeah, I don't want children, like that's just not in my plans, people are like, then what are you on this earth for? To be like her. To be like her. okay?
Yeah, man, I'm not having kids.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I'm just not about that life.
Honestly, man, I don't blame you. People are having kids in this economy.
Exactly, it's such a huge responsibility.
For sure, dude.
I just want to focus on my career.
Good on you for that.
And just bettering my own life, you
Right
know?
on, man.
Yeah, I actually don't want children.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Well, you're still so young. You'll change your mind.
No, I've thought about it a lot, and I definitely don't want kids.
How could you not want to be a mother?
Well,
you don't know love until you have a child.
I'm just really focused on building my own path right now and figuring out my career goals.
Don't you think that's selfish to have your whole life centered around just you?
It's more than that. Kids are very expensive. They're a massive responsibility. You know, being a parent is the hardest job in the world.
Becoming a mother was the best thing that ever happened to me. I can't imagine not being a mother.
Okay, and that's totally valid for you, but that's just not the life that I want.
You're going to live a cold, lonely, meaningless life if you don't have children.
If you mean a life of peace where I can sleep through the night and only have to worry about feeding and buying things for myself, then yes, that's the life that I want.
I'll remember this conversation when you have your first child.
Are you listening to a word I'm saying?
I want to know what your number one reason is for not having kids. You don't owe anybody an explanation. You don't.
My number one reason for not having or wanting kids is based solely off of, I'm not a selfish person, but to be a parent, you have to be selfless. And that ain't me. I want to spend my money on what I want to spend my money on. I don't want another human life dictating what I'm going to do. I don't want to be responsible for another human life. I don't want to have to deal with my heart living outside of my body. Like, I already have control issues and anxiety issues and things like that. I don't need to put that on an innocent child. And some of y'all should take that advice. Just saying.
Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know what your thoughts are. As I said before, everyone should have the right. It's their body, it's their journey, it's their life. They should have the choice whether they want to have children or not, because it's not sometime you can take care of your children. It's a 24-hour day job, 7 days a week, every day. It's not, there's no sick day, no day off. So if the person does not have children, I don't think they should made to feel guilty to have children when they don't want that child, because that child will be suffering in the long run by the decision of having a child just to appease somebody else, just to fit in what society mold wants them to fit into. So that's just my thought on that. So guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.